I think that, in a way, the more challenging they are, the more investment from multilateral development banks are needed. So that's why, the level of investment is also very much related to the importance of the challenges. In terms of priority, I think that we should very important to continue to support the green transition, because we know that, climate change is accelerating. This has a huge cost. We can already see it on natural disaster, drought, floods, and so forth. So it's very important to go back on target in terms of international investment in the green transition, to support renewable, to triple the renewable investment as agreed in COP28 in Dubai, to accelerate energy efficiency and so forth, so that we will be at the rendezvous for the Paris Agreement.
So far in this edition of the World Economic Forum, we have heard the World Bank, the IMF sounding quite negative in terms of the global economy and the fact that we're going to see lower growth compared to previous years. How's the EBRD thinking about 2024? What are the main challenges, do you think?
So indeed, I think that what we've seen is a deceleration of growth, particularly related to the impact of inflation, tightening of monetary policies. These start to have a real impact on growth, plus all the uncertainties related to the geopolitical situation, war in Ukraine, now war in the Middle East. So that's not, growth enhancing. We see, still in our region of operation, positive growth in most cases, and in all cases. Some countries doing very well, and some countries being more fragile. What is the positive? On the positive side, I think that we see in most cases inflation decelerating, which will give some room of maneuver for monetary policy at some point. So we already saw emerging markets starting to decrease interest rates, and probably there will be room there. But of course, I fully share the view that there are a number of challenges, uncertainties, which do not create an environment conducive for growth.
Let's turn to Ukraine. I know you're very committed to give money to Ukraine. There's a specific team at the EBRD looking at that. What are you hearing from your team, and what are the main challenges for the Ukrainian economy at this stage?
So I think, first of all, what is very impressive is the resilience of the Ukrainian economy. It's quite striking to see that in 2022, the economy shrink by 30%, but then last year it was a positive growth, more than 4%. So it shows that after the shock and the fact that some territories are occupied and so forth, the economy has stand up, and gain strength again. So this is a very good sign. What we see is that our clients in the private sector, in the banking sector, are very resilient. It's impressive to see that on the 2 billion of financing we provided to the country, 1 billion was in the private sector, addressing needs for working capital, but also investment for relocalization of some activities, rebuilding buildings that have been destroyed or things like that. So, and the other big part was investment in the infrastructure in order to ensure that they are resilient and also rebuild it as soon as needed. So the resilience is a big factor. Of course, there are challenges, and one of the challenges, I think one of the important things is absolutely to keep the level of support to Ukraine, because this is part, on the military side, but also on the economic and financial part, because this is key for the country to be able to sustain the war.